Hello everyone, welcome back to Keto Fasting Life. So today I wanted to talk about a bit about what I'm reading lately and kind of a path that I went through to get to this point that I am at now. So, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, but it all kind of began when I kind of accidentally happened across a video by Dr. Jason Fung talking about the relationship of insulin to weight gain and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, aha, that makes so much sense. So that, and I'll put a link to that video down below. I'll put links to all this stuff down below. So that led me to buy Dr. Jason Fung's book, The Obesity Code, which I read cover to cover and was very, very enlightening. I thought, oh, okay. That led me to read further. Then I picked up a book called Keto Clarity by Jimmy Moore, who was a co-author with, or not a co-author, but actually narrated Jason Fung's book, because I actually didn't read it, I listened to it. I do a lot of driving. So Keto Clarity, that kind of gave you the guts behind things. And also in that path, Dr. Fung talks about fasting, both intermittent and extended fasting as being one of the ways to help with this kind of stuff. So that led me to his book, The Complete Guide to Fasting, which is here. And on that same time, I kind of uncovered Jimmy Moore's other clarity book, Cholesterol Clarity, which tells the same kind of story about why our traditional views of cholesterol, good and bad, and HDL and LDL are kind of misguided, and that was a very interesting read. So I encourage you to look at all those. So that's kind of how I got started in this whole thing. But lately, I picked up another book called the Ketogenic Bible by Jacob Wilson and Ryan Lowry. It's a great book. It outlines it in a more simple thing. If I was going to recommend a book for somebody to get started on, that's the book I'd take, because not only does it go through kind of the history and why we believe what we believe and why we believe what we believe now in regards to carbohydrates and fat and all that kind of stuff. It gives a very thorough but layman-like version of it. Plus the book has got a lot of recipes as well, so it's a good one-stop shop for all those kinds of things. Great book. Now, as earth-shattering as that whole ketogenic diet thing was, because it made you think, oh my goodness, everything I've thought for the past whatever length of time is totally backwards. I recently stumbled across another video from a great YouTube channel called What I Learned, or What I've Learned, and some great stuff on there. And this one was all about salt and how our views about salt and sodium have been way off base in the past as well. It was like the whole ketogenic epiphany, if you want to call it that, all over again from a salt perspective. So I've been reading that just recently. I'm kind of in the middle or 3/4 of the way through that book, and it talks. It's like ketogenic all over again. It just makes you really think about what our fixation on low sodium and how harmful it may be, and how higher sodium, or what we would have typically called regular sodium levels, is a much better thing. So actually for the past few weeks I've been upping my sodium levels back up to between 3,000 and 4,000 milligrams of sodium a day, and feeling great, and it's very interesting stuff. So I encourage you to watch that video. I'll put a link down below. Plus that got me onto the book called The Salt Fix. That's actually the book I'm talking about, that goes through the whole kind of history of where we have our salt fixations from, and kind of more where we should be going. So those are kind of the things that if I was putting a reading list together for somebody new getting into this, those are the kinds of things I'd recommend. So I'll put links to all those books down below, plus the videos that kind of associated with them that got me thinking along those ways. So if you're looking, I'll put it together in a playlist maybe, so you can watch them start to finish if you've got a couple hours to kill. And hopefully you find that very interesting. I certainly have. And it just goes to show you there is so much out there to be learned. The lesson I take away from all this stuff, both the ketogenic stuff and the salt thing, is that whenever you hear somebody saying, oh, well, that makes sense, it worries me. Because what they're doing is they're taking something that they've thought about logically, but haven't actually tested yet. So like it made sense that, oh, if you eat fat, you'll get fat. But until they actually test it, you think, oh, no, that's not actually what's happening. It's the carbohydrates that make you fat. The salt is the same way. So I like to see things where people have actually done studies and have proven things rather than just thought, oh yeah, I think that makes sense. That's not good science. Anyway, I will continue to read things and update you if I find a really good book. Until then, stay tuned.